Okay, JJ, let's see how strong you are. Lift it up above your head.
No. Don't drop it. You drop, I have to pay $8.90, okay?
Okay, hello, good afternoon. Okay, hi, you're watching Great Speed Eats, and I'm here at a coffee shop at Toa Payoh, Lorong 1 to talk about this stall that's hugely popular for its salted duck rice. So, salted duck rice is a Hokkien dish, and it is quite uncommon in Singapore's food landscape. There are currently only 2 stalls that sell salted duck in Singapore, that I know of at least, and one of them is this eatery right here, Benson Salted Duck Rice. The other outlet is Home Treasure Salted Duck Rice located in Bukit Canberra Hawker Centre. So, Benson Salted Duck Rice was opened by Benson Lim in 2017, and he is a seasoned chef who used to work in various restaurants and catering companies like Tung Lok and Purple Sage. And the reason why Benson chose to do the Hokkien dish of salted duck is because his mother used to cook it for him when he was growing up. So he wanted to revive the dish right away. So come, let's have a taste. Hello, 给我quarter salted duck 啊，下装。给我那个 smoked duck 给我半只。
smoked duck 是整片的。
OK 啊，一片。还要给我空白3块可以了，放一个。Okay, so I'm back from the stall, and what I have here are 3 of the stall's dishes, which I think are the most noteworthy. There's salted duck, obviously, which is the main highlight, and there's smoked duck right over here. I also asked for some rice, and I got some chilli on the side, and I got some of their braised pork, because among the braised items, right, this is the best, I think. First, I show you, this is the salted duck here. Okay, so the salted duck, it comes with some shredded vegetable on the bottom, raw carrots and cucumbers, some kiam salted veg, some lime and some parsley on top. Now you'll actually notice that they actually give a reasonable amount of parsley and salted veg, and there's a reason for that, which I'll explain later. Okay, so first I'm going to try all the individual ingredients, right? But a bit of a warning, people tend to love the dish, but there's quite a significant number of people who actually don't like the dish. But I suspect that whether you love the dish or not will actually heavily depends on how you eat the dish. So firstly, the duck. Okay, it's salted, but lightly so, which is surprising as it's supposed to be salted duck. And expect a heavier salted flavour to it. But there's a reason why it's lighter salted, which again, I'll explain later. And actually, it's nice that it's lighter salted, because you can actually taste the natural flavour of the duck and the character of the duck fat itself. The meat texture is also softer and more tender than salted ducks that I have tried in the past. I think people love the fact that the duck meat is tender, but frankly I wouldn't have minded a firmer chew either. I think that in Singapore, we have lost the art of textural eating. Not everything needs to be soft. But again, that's a subject for another vlog, so I won't talk about it here. Also, a caveat is that I haven't tried many salted ducks in my life. So I'm only comparing what I'm tasting here to the salted ducks that I have tasted in Singapore and around the region. So when I hear about how Benson cooks his salted duck, it makes sense why his ducks have a more tender texture. Apparently his mother's traditional recipe involved boiling the duck, then salting it after, but that would result in meat that was quite tough. So Benson went through many rounds of experimentation before coming up with his unique way to cook his salted duck. Instead of boiling the duck, he poaches the duck in a pot of water filled with pandan, lemongrass, garlic and ginger, and all that is presumably to tame the intense duck flavour. Then he submerges the duck in cold salted water for 1.5 hours before rubbing the skin with salt and 5 spice powder at the end. So what he does is that he borrows some of the Cantonese method of doing duck rice, which is to dunk the chicken into ice water, or cold water in this case, and that halts the cooking process and ensures that the meat stays tender. Next, the kiam. It hasn't been cooked to death, and there's a reasonable amount of salty and very slight sweetness. The parsley. Parsley is parsley lah. They give you quite a generous amount of it. If it isn't enough, ask for more. Here's how much they give you. It's quite okay, isn't it? You can see. And lastly, the lime. They give you one lime here, and that's for a quarter of a duck. But feel free to ask for more lime lah. I think this dish works better with more lime. Next, the chili sauce. Garlicky, slightly sour, slightly sweet, quite fresh. It almost tastes like your standard chicken rice chili lah. And next, the rice. Tastes like chicken rice. Seasoned and relatively oil rich, but it's actually not using chicken fat. It uses butter, so it's buttered rice. And it has the same effect of chicken rice. It's not like the world's best chicken rice or anything, but it's reasonably good. It's maybe lighter flavored, but the fact that it is lighter flavor, right, actually makes sense now. I'll explain why. So as you can see, right, all the individual ingredients, they're pretty average tasting. If you eat it on its own, and the duck is good, but not what I would call spectacular on its own. But here's where the magic happens. It is when you combine everything together that the taste is vastly elevated. For this dish, the sum is far greater than its individual parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some rice, and I'm going to have some duck, some kiam chye on top, a parsley, some lime, and some chili sauce. That is simply awesome. It's got a big range of flavors. It's got that foundational duck flavor, richness from the duck fat and from the rice, and two kinds of saltiness from the duck seasoning and the kiam chye, and the coriander and garlic herb flavors, sour lime, some slight sweetness and spiciness from the chili sauce. And amazingly, all these flavors do not clash with each other and complement each other very well. You can taste each flavor if you focus on it. It's very clean and organized flavor. And of course, you can play around with the flavors now, omitting the lime, adding more chili or more parsley and so on. I tend not to eat too much carbs these days now for health reasons. But for this dish, I actually end up eating the whole plate of rice because it just tastes so damn good. And they also give you some soup with it. This is very decently flavored, very nice. It's got some stock flavors. I think it is actually the soup where they actually make the pig organ soup now over here. They sell a pig organ soup, so I think they take the soup from that. Moderate savouriness and quite robust. There's a moderate amount of stock flavour inside, very nice. Okay, next, the smoked duck. Okay, so this is your standard factory-made duck breast that you get from Shopee or Lazada lah. What Benson does is to fry the breasts for a darker colour, then to drizzle on some of his homemade black pepper sauce on it. Oh, very nice. There's a reason why smoked duck is quite popular, because it's got that smokiness, plus the breast meat is actually quite tender and it's quite juicy. Factory made generally gets a bad rap lah. Even I poo-poo it a lot of the time. But there are some instances where I admit that the factory made stuff can actually be pretty good. And smoked duck breast is actually one of them. The saucing, maybe slightly peppery, but it does add a nice full-bodied savouriness lah to the dish. Every time I come here for the salted duck, right, I will order this smoked duck. Now, they also serve two other fairly popular dishes at the stall, which is pretty good, but it's not something I would purposely go and seek out. They have what is known as the fish Mohr pig organ soup, and the inherent broth is quite nice. It's a good flavorful pork stock that has a lovely round savouriness, and they enhance it with some white pepper, garlic oil, fried onions and spring onions, so it's quite aromatic. That said, the broth could be maybe a bit thicker and more robust. Then it would be really amazing. Also bear in mind that this is not the typical pig organ soup that you get everywhere else in Singapore. It's not Topher kiam chye, so there isn't any salted mustard leaf taste inside. Not that it's a bad thing, it's just that it's a different dish. As for the ingredients, You get some sliced meat, liver, stomach, factory-made pork balls, tofu and fish maw. The ingredients are reasonably okay, but could do with some under-blanching. Sometimes the textures are a little overdone, especially the liver and the sliced pork. The store also sells a range of soy braised items, and the braising sauce is actually very good. Nice soy salty flavors that is a bit rounded and concentrated, but there are many stalls selling soy braised pork items. And for it to be amazing, right, it really has to be excellent and really stand out. Also, the textures of some of the braised items tend to be on the firmer side. Now, I love firmer textures, but I realize not everyone does. In fact, not many people do. So if you're particular about not having it too firm, avoid the liver and the pork skin. And order the braised pork belly, which is what I have here. And it tends to be braised to a softer texture. Okay, finished. So that was a look at Benson salted duck rice. But would I travel half across Singapore to eat here? For the salted duck dish itself, most definitely. But you have to be aware that you're passing judgment on the dish as a whole, and not just the salted duck. It's the addition of all the little side things which he adds on that actually turn it from a mediocre dish to a pretty amazing dish. As for the smoked duck, it makes for very nice eating, and I never hesitate to order it whenever I'm here. But I wouldn't travel for it since you can get this smoked duck taste online anywhere. The same goes for the pig organ soup and the soy braised items. It's nice, but only when I'm here for the salted duck. So thanks for watching another episode of Great Speed Eats, where I eat through the whole of Singapore. If you like this episode, give it a like, subscribe, comment below, and turn on the notifications bell. And I'll see you next one for more eating.